My grandfather was a huge influence on me. He had Model Ts, he had MG midgets. He always had different stuff coming in and out. He always had something cool, and he had a 56 T-Bird that was amazing. I took that to prom, so I was, the coolest kid at prom, showed with a 56 T-Bird. My first car was actually kind of cool. I had an 81 Mustang 4i Fox body. I had the straight six, it was super slow. My first car is also the first car I got in a wreck with. I didn't have much money, so I had to fix it myself. And that's kind of been the theme forever, is if I wanted something, I have to do it myself. I have to fix it myself, I have to install it myself. My name is Beau. I'm from Renton, Washington, and I have a 1968 Mustang with a Toyota 2JZ swap in it. This car used to belong to a family friend of ours. Every year we go over there for the 4th of July. The car sat in their driveway, and every year I would see this car slowly become more and more part of the earth. One day out of the blue, I get a call, and he says, "Come on over here and make me an offer." And I did, and towed it home that day. It was not running. It was pretty rough. There was green mold growing on it. The brakes were all locked up. The tires were dry rotted. It was pretty rough. The car's always been evolving. I didn't get it and then say, okay, I'm gonna do a 2J in a Mustang and I'm gonna do a Gulf livery on it. It didn't start out like that. The first thing was like, I wanna get this thing on the road and I wanna drive it. It had the straight six in it. People really like to see the straight six in there. Like, oh, it's something different, this is neat. I wanted a little more horsepower though. I knew I wanted more horsepower, and I knew I didn't want to go with a 302 V8 because that's what everybody expected to see under the hood. I have a friend who's pretty big in the 2.3 turbo world, and he said, why don't you do one of those in the Mustang? And I kind of said, all right, how hard could it be? The issue with that swap was it was running on an aftermarket ECU, and I didn't know how to tune it. So I was kind of fumbling my way through it. Learned a whole lot about engine tuning and air-fuel ratios and all that. So it was a good learning experience. But I blew up my first engine. Chunks of the piston tops flew out. What I really wanted was reliability, but it had to keep up with his looks. When I looked up engine swaps, it was LS motors, and then everyone says like the Japanese LS is the 2J, and like it or not, I grew up with the Fast and the Furious, right? 2J was like this mythical thing, so I started doing research into them. They're reliable, and that was like my #1 goal. Reliability and then more horsepower. It drives really well now. It had some teething pains, it really did. Kept on breaking drive shafts, which in turn shattered transmissions. The turbo is all about compromises. Off the line, when I floor it, it's not dramatic. It builds and builds and builds, and then it gets crazy. I've always liked the Gulf livery, it's classic. The car was red, and every car show or every meet I would go to, 12 red Mustangs would show up. And so I had something cool under the hood, and I wanted people to come look at it. I had a model of a Ford GT in the Gulf livery on my desk at work. So for about a month, I was, looking at colors, and I kept glancing over at this GT, and I was like, why not? Like, this is my only fun car. It has to be a little bit of everything for me, so why not, go crazy with it? And so I'm with Gulf livery. Everybody's really nice in person, not so much on the internet. But in person, everyone's really great. Right now, I'm happy with it. There's some days when it's broken, I want to push it off a cliff, but right now that it's running, it's great. It's definitely highs and lows. I think my next project's gonna be another 67 or 68 Mustang. It's gonna take a lot of things I learned from this, put them into that, and it's gonna be way crazier. I wouldn't say I'm a Mustang guy, I'm a car guy. I like a little bit of everything. It's just the Mustangs seem to keep on finding me.